Hi guys, today we're going to start painting the outline of a floral arrangement that Maurice would have painted back in the 1800s. So I have a piece of square paper, whatever kind of paper you have at home is fine. I'm starting to use construction paper just so that it's not a white blank piece of paper. So I'm going to start by making some ovals on my paper. Uh, this paint is meant to be a outline, but it's also meant to kind of be like a sketch. So it doesn't have to be super accurate or anything like that because we're going to be adding some more paint. So you can see I'm starting to do some overlapping, and I'm just kind of working on making some nice ovals or circles. And I'm kind of making them all in a clump. That way it looks like they're going to be like they're in an arrangement like in a vase. So I'm going to start to add some details, and tomorrow we're going to really start adding a lot more color. Today we just want to get the outline done. So I have my centers of my circles, and now I'm going to start to add some leaves, and you don't really need too many of these, maybe just a few depending on how big your arrangement is. Okay, and the last step today is going to be adding a vase. So I'm going to have a really round vase. If you want a skinny vase or a rectangular vase, that's totally fine. Mine's going to be a little bit rounder. And again, kind of making it sketchy, doesn't have to be super perfect because we're going to have other colors. Here I'm going to add a table in the background. So this is just a simple horizon line. And then I'm also going to just add some paint in the back. This is going to kind of help with our project tomorrow so that it's not just a blank piece of paper when we get started. Alright guys, so today we're going to start to add our color. So I'm going to have the warm colors and white. So the warm colors are red, orange, yellow like you see, and then I'm going to have my white off to the side. Now the Impressionist painters were trying to paint the light, and it's a very fast way of painting. And there's going to be some strokes that you still see, and that's perfectly fine. You still kind of want it to be strokey, and that way it looks like the petals in the flower. So you can watch me use my warm colors here. I'm going to try to do a different color for each flower, and the great thing about the warm colors is that they all mix really nicely together. So I hope you enjoy painting in your flowers. One little tip as well is if I don't like a color on my paintbrush, instead of going into my water cup, I'm just going to kind of wipe my paintbrush off on my background, and then that way that's going to kind of fill in the background space. You can see I have a few strokes already in the top. I might already put some in the bottom as well because we're going to use the cool colors for the vase, and so it kind of makes a nice contrast with the warm and cool colors when they're opposite. So again, maybe not using a water cup so much, but kind of drying your brush off in the background, and it leaves a nice effect on your painting. Okay, now that my flowers are done, I'm going to be starting with my leaves. So, of course, I'm going to have some green. I'm also going to incorporate some blue, and I might have some yellow in there because yellow also mixes nicely with the blue and the yellow. Again, you still want there to be some of those strokes in there. That's how the Impressionist painters would paint, and it's a very nice effect and something a little different than what we've maybe done this school year. Again, when your brush gets kind of dirty, here's where you can wipe your cool colors kind of more in the top range of your painting. That way there's a nice contrast, and once I'm done with my leaves, I'll fill in my vase with my nice cool colors, and then we'll be all done. Once I like how my background looks, my last step is going to be to add some white highlights. So a highlight is where the light is hitting the brightest on an object. And so I'm just going to go in all on the left-hand side of my flowers, and I'm going to add this nice white highlight. It makes your flowers look a little bit more realistic, and it looks like there's some shading going on there. So that's kind of a nice little trick to add to your painting. All right, friends, so I hope you enjoyed painting these flowers today. I think it's a really fun and pretty spring project now that the weather's starting to turn and it's starting to get a little warmer outside. Tomorrow we're going to also do flowers, but we're going to kind of zoom out a little bit. So kind of doing a floral theme for this week. So I'm excited to see what you guys make tomorrow. Hi friends, today we're going to work on drawing and a little bit of painting. We are going to make a 1-point perspective drawing today. Don't worry, it sounds a little scary, but it's actually really easy. So all you need is the pencil right now. We're going to draw our horizon line, which is a little bit above halfway in the paper. And then we're going to make a triangle here, and it's going to be right in the middle of our paper. And now we made a path, and this is going to be for our field of flowers. Now the cool part about this is that this is how our eye actually sees things, and so it looks like the path is going back into space and getting smaller and smaller, and really it was just a triangle and a straight horizon line. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making some grass. Now, things from far away are very small and a little bit fuzzy, and things that are closer to us are more in focus and a little bit bigger. So my brush strokes way in the back of my painting are going to be pretty brushy, and there's not going to be a lot of detail there. And as I get closer to the front of my paper, it's going to be a little bit more I'm going to take a little bit more time, and I'm going to make sure that I can see each blade of grass as I'm kind of moving through my painting. You can see I'm mixing a combination of white, green, and yellow paint. Okay, now that my grass is done, we're gonna add the sky for the last remaining part today. Now notice how my brush strokes are now going horizontal instead of vertical. That really helps separate the sky from the ground. So I'm gonna use a combination of blue and white paint. I'm again going kind of strokey and making sure that I'm blending my colors and that there's those strokes showing through. That way it really looks like an impressionist painting. You'll see at the end I'm going to put some blue on my path. That just helps kind of make the painting all cohesive and going together. Tomorrow we're going to add some brown paint on top of the path, so that'll get covered up a little bit. But again, just like we did with the flowers, it's nice to kind of wipe your paintbrush off in an area that doesn't have paint in it yet. Okay, so today we're going to start to add the path in and we're going to start to add some flowers. As you can see, I'm starting to add some tan on top of my blue that I put on the path from yesterday. This I'm just kind of filling in to get a good base color. And then I'm going to have some brown ready to go. And we're going to make some rocks or, just some texture on the path there. The brown, again, things that are closer to us are going to be bigger and things farther away are going to be smaller. So you're going to see that I'm using some big brushy strokes and the brown is eventually going to get smaller and smaller as I work my way back into that triangle. Now to add the flowers, I'm going to start with my lightest color first, which is going to be white. I'm going to use white, yellow, orange, red, purple, and I'm doing it in order of lightest color to darkest color. Again, things in the foreground or the things that are in the front are going to be bigger and things in the back are going to be smaller. So I'm going to start with some big white flowers, and as I'm going back, I'm going to release the pressure on my paintbrush and I'm going to go smaller and smaller and smaller. You'll see that I'm going to do this with all of my colors until I have a beautiful field of color um, with all of my different colors. All right, my friends, I hope you had fun painting flowers in two different ways, one really up close and one far away. I'm looking to see your artist statement on Google Classroom, and I hope you guys had fun this week.